Hello there, Apple Bites. This is your Apple Bite, written with Ralph, talking to you straight from our show here, Apple Bites, where we take a bite out of the apple and we share it with you. And today's apple is a pretty tasty apple because you have some Poppa and some Time Enforcers. So let's see what's happening with both of these. Every once in a while, I feel like I'm back at broadcasting school doing my thing, and this beautiful Wham stand mic it is just like completely reminding me of that. Also reminds me of our roots and how we first started, because now we feel like we even if I don't have all the wires and stuff connected to the 35 millimeter camera, I can take care of this, which is so much easier because all I need is the wireless mic to put in here, and the facsimile is fantastic.
That's cool.
And Wham Stand, they're fantastic. They can make your tables at cons look fantastic. Or, when you put your stuff up, it can make it look even more beautiful. So folks, you should check out Wham Stand. And if you stay tuned with me, we'll be doing a whole little contest where we'll be giving away one of these beautiful little mics.
Cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I'm thinking what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell people to nominate their favorite podcasters. And we'll do a whole little contest like that, and then whoever picks the winner might get something as well.
Very nice.
Phil, it's great to see you.
You too. And it's nice to meet Paul. Poor Paul got me in a rant. That's how he met me.
Okay, Phil.
We get it. All right, Phil, you know what? Why don't we start this off so we can get the people out there with the juices flowing and they can see the beautiful thing that is Poppa. So go ahead and start explaining.
Well, to be honest with you, I haven't done a lot of shows because it's kind of emotionally draining for me. But so I wrote this story that I didn't realize at the time subconsciously was about me and my father in a lot of ways. I mean, there's variations, of course, but at the core of it, it's that. My father got diagnosed with cancer. He read the script. He was like, "Oh, this is great. Would you be able to get this in my hands, hopefully before I go?" I thought I'd have more time, but and he was doing well. The prognosis was 3 or 4 years. He's 77,
right?
Bench pressing 165 pounds. But anyway, unfortunately, another tumor came out of nowhere very quickly, and in 5 weeks, it killed him. So I didn't get the book out in time. And as much as I love the story and I love publishing stories, this is very personal for me in the sense that I feel like I failed, that I didn't get it out there. And I want to, I just want to be able to fulfill my promise to my dad, and get it out there in print. It's really originally a 110-page graphic novel, but because that's a lot of money to create a graphic novel, I had to break it up into its chapters and do it as a 5-issue miniseries of 22 pages each.
Right.
Now, Poppa, on the surface, you may think it's this, dramatic thing, or even like real heavy emotionally. It's not. It is and it's not. Like, it's got drama and it's got family dynamics. It's got the tension between his son and his father, because we don't realize that the sacrifices fathers make for families. We often, rightfully so, give women their credit that is due, and we should, but the men kind of silently just go ahead, do what they have to do, even if they're struggling inside. Men just stuff it down and do what they got to do, and we don't always, as children, see those sacrifices. We just see the things on the surface. And this is kind of, at the core of it, is about the son and father dynamics and how they were estranged and how the son doesn't realize certain things. But at the same time, it's also an action adventure where when something goes wrong and a threat comes to your family in the name of your granddaughter, mind you,
right?
What is this 75, he's 75 in the book, what is this 75-year-old man willing to do to protect his family and save them from this threat, which happens to be in the form of the Italian mafia and the Yakuza, which is the Japanese mafia. So there is a very big twist in this book that at the end of chapter 1, you will discover if I can get it funded and if people back it. And reviews have been great that it's a Silver Age type tale, with true heroes. Because, you and I talk about this all the time, how we've gotten into the anti-hero world.
Oh, completely. Yeah.
We blurred the lines of good guys and bad guys. We've made bad guys sympathetic, and we've made good guys like anti-heroes that push the boundaries and they murder and things like that. And I do think there's room for that in comics, and I like it. But I think we've gotten away from those good old Rocky, Captain America, true heroes that, they do what they can in the realm of integrity and responsibility to do what they need to do. And Poppa has to find a way to save and protect his family without crossing the boundaries of his own integrity. And it's just, everybody who's read it, and I've had about 10 beta readers, they all love it. They thought the script was fantastic.
It is.
And, thank you for whoever pledged. It's very kind. Thank you.
Oh, look at that. Okay, cool.
Yes, that's awesome. That's awesome. It's so nice to see it go up. Thank you.
You're welcome, Phil. Anytime.
Oh, that was you? Thank you. Thank you.
I gotta say, you're so close to your funding goal.
Now, thanks to Paul, I'm $494 away, guys. And look,
I wish I could afford the $250 pledge will work, but it's a little bit too much.
Oh no! I listen. It's $7 PDF. I'm just grateful that you would do that. Thank you for the support. I just, I don't expect people to want to pledge because of the emotional aspect for me, and I'm not using it as a marketing tool. I swear to God, I'm not, because that would be disgusting and despicable.
Yeah, we get it. It's just that a book means more to you than
Yeah,
it's a little more personal for you.
Yeah, and I just emotionally it was hard, and I guess part of the grieving and part of the healing process for me would be getting this book out. But again, I understand that's not anybody else's issue. We all have our crosses, emotional crosses to bear. Yeah. Just away from all that, it really is a good story that I really think people will enjoy. But unless you give it a shot, you're not going to know.
That is true.
So,
see, look. Paul's getting all this love too over here. Plexi the Bear is my hero. Paul Hebert, I love you. And I think you got a wow, Phil.
Well, I mean, Raphael's been speaking very highly of this, Phil. So I love good stories, and just the background you provided. I'm sure your dad would be. I know where he is right now. He's just beaming right now, looking down at you and what you're doing. So it's all good stuff. I'm really
and I think you succeeded, Phil, also because he actually got to read it. I know he didn't get to see the finished book, but he actually got to read it.
And the thing is, my father was never into comics. He always thought they were stupid. But he first read Tragedy, and then he read everything else I did, and he really enjoyed it. The biggest compliment I usually get is that my dialogue is very real and grounded, and right. Everybody has a different voice. And you can really submerge yourself in the story because the dialogue is real. I'm not saying that's told to me. I would say if you back it, you can find out and let me know what you think.
Just to let people know what I think is, and I know you guys are out there and you guys are listening to all this. This reminds me of the Silver Age books, when comics used to have emotional weight to them. Because it wasn't just about the hero did this and the hero did that. It was like the hero is going through something, and at the same time that he's going through something, he has to deal with whatever he has to deal with. And this is the kind of book that feels like.
And I think it has a flavor of Bronze Age in the sense that it doesn't have some of the really corny, hammy kind of stuff that we used to see in which I still love. Don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. In the Silver Age. It's when I say it's serious in the sense that it's not goofy or silly, but at the same time it's action adventure with heart, and heroes that you can cheer for and root for, and characters that you can relate to. I mean, isn't that really the best stories that we ever reflect on are the ones where we related in some way or we aspired to be that character, Rocky and the old Indiana Jones and all those things. They were just fun adventures with lovable characters that you either wanted to be or you could relate to.
Yeah, I agree with it, Phil. I mean, growing up in the 70s and, silver age of comics, and the stories were just, I don't know. I think so much better than they are today. It's almost like everything's cookie cutter now. And I still like reading comics, but I'm finding a better audience in the indie market, to be honest with you. I'm really liking the materials that I've seen come out of it, and they're original. They're not just relying on some, character that's already been around for 50 years or whatever. And it's just, I love it. It's really great stuff seeing new content come out that's, breaking molds all the time. So.
Yeah, and it would be great if they could get more of a spotlight. There's a lot of great creators. And by the way, I just want to say, I put in for $8 shipping. I don't know why it came up as $10 shipping. So I put out a message to make up the $2 because I'm an honest guy. I don't like to swindle people. I'm going to give something free with whatever physical backing pledge that people do to make up for that $2 because honestly, it was not intentional, and because $8 should cover the shipping. And once someone pledges, you cannot go in and change the shipping amount on it. So I do apologize for that error. And you may notice that with some things it says $8, but when you do the main tier, it says 10. I have no idea what happened. I put 8. But anyway, so just so you know, I will make up that $2 by giving something of that probably greater value with the book to make up for that, because I know times are tough. People work hard for their money, probably at jobs they're not very satisfied with. And for you to spend that money and then the shipping on my book, I'm very grateful, and I don't want you to think I'm trying to fleece you here, because I'm not. So again, my apologies for that error, but I will make up that $2 shipping to everybody with free stuff.
To be honest, I wouldn't notice it because I'm shipping stuff out all the time, and it's unbelievable. There's nothing for $6 anymore. Everything's $8 or above. It's ridiculous.
Well, even when I charge $8, some of them will be higher once in a while, but it balances out because others are like $7.54, $7.56. Yep. And of course you have to count the price of the Gemini and things like that. But so I just, I try to keep the shipping as low as possible, because already, with Kickstarter taking their 11% and everything else, and print costs being so high for guys with small volume like us, unfortunately, we have to charge that higher book rate as it is,
I feel you, and it's. I think it's also comforting for some people out there to know that you've done Kickstarter for a while now, and even you sometimes have issues with Kickstarter itself. Because I know there's a lot of people that get frustrated and trying to get their first Kickstarter out there, or they've done a couple of Kickstarters and they're still messing up. Sometimes it's heartening to see that I'm not the only one. In other words,
well, they keep changing things up, and unfortunately, it's like usual with corporations. They're fixing what's not broken, and they don't fix it for the better. They make it more convoluted or less user friendly, which for whatever reason, it's still a great platform, of course, but they changed things up, and I really don't know what happened. I have no clue. I put $8 in on everything, and some of it says 10 and some of it says 8, and I don't know why.
That's so weird.
I know. Maybe it defaulted. I don't know, but
that's a possibility, because
sometimes it defaults to $1 less. Like if you put in 10, it defaults to 9. I'm like, what? How did that happen? It's really weird.
Oh, that must be like, oh my God, I needed all that money.
Yeah. But I didn't want people to think, I'm trying to milk them and get extra money out of the shipping. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't want it done to me. I sure as heck am not going to do it to you.
And I see here, you've got all the covers for everything, because this was supposed to come out as one thick book, right?
It was going to be a 110-page graphic novel with 5 cover options or 4 cover options. But that would be $15,000 to do, and since there are no boobies in this book, I wasn't going to be able to get the $15,000 up. So there's my dad, Purple Heart recipient. So I decided to do the 5 chapters. It was the only way I was going to get it out, and I wound up getting a 5th cover by Kenny Calderon to have one cover choice for each. I didn't add a lot of stuff to this campaign. I usually have like all my library books in there. a library of titles, but
Right.
I just wanted the focus to be on Poppa. So I have a few things that relate. Withered relates because of faith, and
Mm-hmm.
dynamics relate because obviously it's family. Um, so
That makes
that's
sense. You kept it to all the stuff that kind of goes with this.
yeah. I mean, I didn't see the sense of putting my horror magazine on here or tragedy or
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. But because I was trying to hurry up and get it done because of my father's health, I had a different artist attached to each chapter, so that literally in a month I could get all 5 chapters done because 5 artists would be working at the same time.
Good idea.
Yeah, unfortunately, again, now that we have to split it up into the chapters, it will be a different artist for each chapter, but they're all amazing, amazing artists. Alex Sarabia will do the first issue. Chow Marcus will do the second. I think David River the third. Russ Leach the fourth, and Rod Rodolfo will do the fifth. So very very tight line work. February Ferdinand's colors are phenomenal. Gary Girout will be inking the first 2 chapters over Alex Sarabia and Chow Marcus because they're just doing pencils. And Gary's phenomenal. And I just and George Medina, who has the Adventures of Wonder Duck and a bunch of other really good books, he offered to letter the book for free to keep my costs down, and I argued with him no, and he was arguing with me, and I was just gonna slip him money, whatever. And
That's good.
and my dad passed, and he still insists on doing it for
Mhm.
free, and I love him for it, and I appreciate him for his kindness. I'm gonna try to find a way to stash some cash in his pocket or something without getting arrested, but we'll figure it out. But he insists, and I just want to say to George Medina, who's an amazing letterer and a good man, I thank you.
Yeah,
Hey
he
Phil,
does
I
great work
know a
with
guy.
lettering. Folks, you want to hire a good letterer, get yourself in touch with Jorge Medina, and he'll do you guys justice.
What were you saying, Paul?
I said I know a guy. Just so you know,
Okay, you're a letterer
I'll get
too.
him paid for you.
What's that?
I'll get him paid for you. Don't worry about it.
Oh
Oh no, guy.
yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's a great creative team. Again, everybody's reviewing the book well. There's a lot of reviews on this page. And as you can see, the artwork is great. It's top notch. It's professional level storytelling in comic book format. And I ask and encourage you guys, can we please get funded right away and maybe make a little extra because it all goes to just back into the book and helping.
That's all we say it all the time on the show. Nobody's making money here. The only people making money are the big companies who are using Kickstarter now. But the little guys are not making money.
And it is tough because coming out of the gate with tragedy, I did over 10 grand, and I even reached 13 grand in my first 3 campaigns. And then it got harder. Kickstarter got tougher, and I think the demographic changed a bit from readers. And I was doing 8 grand campaigns and stuff, and now I'm all of a sudden I'm struggling to hit 2 grand. So I know it's down for everybody across the board
It is.
that aren't doing NSFW, but I mean, I just want to get enough money. I'm not looking to make money just to make the book. I just want to get it printed. I don't care, even if I have to pay a few $100 out of my pocket. I just want to get the book created and printed. To be honest with you, the $2,000 goal is to get the book done. I'd be paying for shipping out of my own pocket and everything, after that's done, because the shipping is part of the goal.
I gotta say, Phil, and I'm happy you touched upon that because I think a lot of people, again, we say it all the time, nobody's making money, but I really don't I don't think people out there have the bigger picture. And the more I'm working on Hugbert, the more I see that I don't know how you guys are making money. I don't understand how you guys are getting projects out there, because it used to be the Kickstarter was a way to kickstart your project. But if you come at it that way, most people don't like looking at your project because you're not far along or far enough along. They want a book that's already finished, and once they put their money in, they're going to get it pretty quickly.
And it's funny you said. I was just talking to George Medina the other day about that. It's supposed to be startup, not distribution, but because of the way it's been used, the consumer base is now, like you said, they want the book right away. And sometimes, like Poppa, it's being used like Tragedy. I always had the book done before the campaign, all my other books, but
Right.
this one I don't have the money. So, yeah, the campaign is to make the book.
Mm-hmm.
But again, the artist will be quick. In a month, he can have the book done. I'll have the book in the printer. I mean, he's actually sending me roughs for the last 19 pages today. So once the roughs are edited and approved, he should be done with the book, but right shortly after the campaign's over, and then I'll get it colored and lettered. And it's 2 weeks or so, sometimes 3 weeks to get the money from Kickstarter after anyway. Right. So, honestly, it should be ready to go within 2 months of the campaign's end. So,
I don't worry too much about you, Phil, because you have a really quick turnaround. Even when your book's not completely done, you have a really quick turnaround. And that's what we were just talking about in the green room, is that this will make a great Father's Day gift, especially because they would get it before then.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. It'll probably be right around that time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, folks, looking for a good Father's Day gift, this is the book. Especially if they like comics. And I'm telling you, folks, this is more than it seems. And we're trying to not spoil anything, because it's better that you come at this from a perspective of not knowing too much, of just the idea of the story. But I can tell you, folks, as you read this, you will enjoy this, and the surprises will be fun.
Yeah, the end of the first chapter has a twist, a surprise that you won't see coming. Nobody has seen it coming. But you got to pick up the book to find out.
Yeah. So pick up the book.
I am.
Go ahead.
Hey, Pete. I also publish other people's books, and as you know, I'm doing the MadCaps for DM Ray right now, which is just under $2,000, which is a Dungeons and Dragons fantasy for friends who hadn't seen each other in a long time, of different races in Dungeons and Dragons, of course. Meet again after a long time apart, and they're right away thrust into a mystery and a quest that deals with a drug that causes people to become zombies.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a good D&D fantasy action book, and it's fun, and it's got that friendship element to it, of these four friends that have met up again after a long time apart, and they haven't skipped a beat. So
I've said it before, and and I'll say it again. What I love about this is, Phil's not kidding. You can actually feel, as you're reading the story. It's the same thing. It's the same reason I love the Dungeons and Dragons movie, because I can actually feel the characters playing these characters. In other words, feel the people who would be playing these characters, because that's how real it feels to the D&D setting, to this story that's happening out there. You can actually hear the side jokes and all the fun that they're having while you're going through it, which is one of the reasons why I like the Dungeons and Dragons movie, because it has that same feel to it.
Well, the funny thing too is with Poppa, I didn't have any really high level tiers, because there's only one cover. I didn't want to do a sketch cover because I figured, who wants a sketch cover of a 75-year-old man? So we do have the art tiers, but of course most of the money goes to the artists. Mm-hmm. And I think that's part of what's causing the struggles for Poppa, is I have a lot of people that usually like to do the completionist thing and buy the tiers that are everything, but I didn't add a lot. I didn't add t-shirts and this and that, and I don't really like to add t-shirts. I did that on the omnibus, and it was the first time, but I'm about the story and pushing the story, so I try not to do too much swag. And plus, if by the time you spend the money on creating the swag, what are you getting, $5-10 off each thing? It doesn't make sense to me. It's a lot of work.
Pete, I agree. A good dungeon master can really tell a great game and make it amazing, like Gage the Wolf and Max the Bone. We miss Gage here. He's a great guy.
Is he still on Facebook? I haven't seen him in ages.
Oh, he's on Facebook, but he's just busy writing. So you know how writers sometimes need to like disappear so they can write.
Yeah. Oh, we're still friends. Okay, I thought for all I knew, maybe he's I'm done with you.
He's just not as active as he was before.
Well, I don't blame him.
He's still writing. He's still telling stories. He's still dungeon mastering. So
cool.
Come back, Gage. Come back.
Working a day job.
Sometimes we got to pay for the dream, folks. Sometimes we got to pay for especially in this industry, we got to pay for the dream.
Sometimes we got to pay for the dream, and sometimes the dream makes us pay.
Exactly. Both times you still need the money.
Yeah.
Phil, I gotta say, like, the more I work on Hugbert, the more I'm sitting there going, I don't know how anybody gets their book done. I don't understand how any of these projects get done, because you're pretty much putting a lot of money out of your pocket before you even go to Kickstarter.
Yeah, well, again, like I said earlier, my Kickstarters used to be very lucrative, and I was making money, not like hand over fist, but enough that I was able to invest back into the company and make more books, and I wasn't spending out of pocket. But in the last few years, it's been a struggle. It's been hard, and I was breaking even, and then it's up and down, and overall breaking even in the last few years. But some campaigns I'm spending out of pocket, some I was just getting it covered, and it's hard. It's hard. Wasn't it Kirby that said comics will break your heart? It's you do this, and again, this is a Pete quote. Pete once said this about my conventions that I ran. It's a passion play, not a money grab, which I thought was a great. I always remember that line. Pete is the one who said it, and he said I could take it. So
yeah, Pete's over here talking like this too. The industry makes us no money. This industry is the epitome of for the love of the game. Well, the love of the fucking game.
Yeah,
bubble burst because the COVID money is gone. I agree. I also feel like the big companies are now using this format to kickstart their own books, which they don't need to kickstart.
Yeah, the big publishers are using this direct to consumer as well, and it is taking up a large portion of the pie. Hey, it is what it is. They built their brand and they got to where they got, and they have their fan base, so good for them. But just factually speaking, this isn't hating. It's just, yeah, it takes up a large part of the wheel that the pie, and the little guys are they're seeing the dividends shrink.
Yeah, completely agree. And because it also splits the money, because now you got the bigger companies there, and a lot of the guys who are buying our books buy those big company books, and now they have to decide: do I want the big company book, or do I want to support my friend in his Kickstarter?
Well, and that's the tough part is you're selling trust, because they don't know who I am, they don't know the quality of my writing, and people are very guarded with their dollar. And even if it looks interesting, I think a lot of times they're reluctant or fearful to take a shot. I would say maybe once a month, if you could, forego that Starbucks or Wendy's or whatever, and just try to support one indie guy a month. The $15, because you might actually find something that is your new addictive thing. You may be, wow, this was so good, I can't wait for the next one. And as we get older, it's hard to look forward to things, right? Like we used to be so excited about Christmas, and we used to be excited about birthdays and whatever holidays. And as you get older, you've been there, done that, and it becomes just more responsibility. So I think as adults, we go through entertainment craving and trying to find that thing that makes us excited and anticipating, when's it coming out again? So I think, and comics was always that for me. Like every Wednesday was exciting, right? It's like Christmas every week. You could go get a stack of books. But
I was just thinking that you looked forward to what was it? It was Tuesday when I was younger.
Yeah.
You looked forward to that Tuesday to go get the new comics. It was like Christmas every week.
Well, you could get like 20 comics for $2. I mean,
we used to get a lot of comics for our money.
I know. Well, I actually saw a study though that showed, with the cost of inflation, what comics cost right now, $4.99, is comparable and equivalent in this economy as the $1.99 was back in the 90s.
But it doesn't feel like that, though.
I know. I think it's because we're getting charged for a lot more things now. Like we didn't used to get charged for air. We didn't used to get charged for space. Just parking my car here. And then there's taxes on taxes on taxes on taxes on taxes, and so I think obviously inflation, your dollar doesn't go as far. Also, our dollar has been cheapened. It's not 100 cents on the dollar anymore.
No.
But I also think there's a lot of people just getting their hand in that cookie jar and taking your money for this, taking your money for that. I mean, even just putting up a website for commerce, all the fees you pay, the credit card fee percentage, the Shopify fee per, the annual fee for hosting. It's everybody's got you one way or the other, so it's difficult.
One of the best things that came out of the regulation of banks is I hated that whole you would go over because you're paying your bills, and if you went over by $1, they charge you $35 on that $1.
Yeah, it's like if I had the dollar, I wouldn't have had to go over, and you want me to give you 35?
Shoot, and I'm like, what the hell? These fees are killing us because you're already in a bad place, and then the fees make it worse.
Well, credit cards, I mean, they can charge. There used to be an extortion rate. You couldn't go more than 23.99%. Now they can charge 37% interest. Who gives a crap?
Yeah, they get higher and higher and higher. Sometimes it's not worth charging anything on your credit card.
I actually don't have credit cards. Everything I do through this business is cash. Yeah. I either have the cash or I don't.
I was able to get off credit cards once, and then I got married.
By the way, on the Poppa campaign, I do have an opening. There's a tier for 5 spots. I'm an editor as well. I'm not just a copy editor. I can edit the book, the sequentials, everything soup to nuts. And normally you'd spend easily $1,000 to $2,000 on an editor. I think I'm having for $250. I will edit your script. I will edit your roughs. I will edit your final pages, and then I will edit the letters and the placement. I'll make sure there's consistency in the backgrounds and the artwork. I'll make sure that the storytelling is there. I'll make sure that obviously every word is spelled correctly. The word balloon placement is proper and the eye flows properly. I will edit for $250, 5 books up to 5. It's extremely dirt cheap, and I am an editor. I can edit. I know there are some people that claim that, and then you hire them and you're like, what the hell? But no, I can edit. And like I said, it's not just copy edit. It's every stage of the book I will edit for you for a measly $250, because I need the money for Poppa, and I'll sacrifice my time and help somebody in the process to get Poppa made. So
I think that's a great deal. That's a great way to do it, offering a service. I find that a lot of the Kickstarters are doing that now, where they have tiers where they'll either offer you to be in the book, or they'll offer you a service that the person can provide. And I think it's a good way to go.
I'm going to be going to distribution. Tragedy will be monthly in stores in October, and I even considered putting a tier for ad space in Tragedy for someone monthly. But I don't know. I'm just trying to find ways to make the cash fairly, to and give something in return to get this book made. You know, I really thought and hoped we would have been funded much sooner. You know, we're a week out and we're still 400 at the
I agree.
expected
I
goal.
expected you to be at least over your funding goal.
Yeah, I mean, usually my campaigns do, and I have a really good amount of loyal people that come and read everything
You
that I
definitely do.
write,
Yeah.
but they have not shown up, so I'm sure money's tight. But
Which
we
is
have a lot of people watching this campaign. There's a lot of followers. The conversion rate is very low right now. So I don't know if they're waiting to see if it funds first, waiting to see if they have the funds themselves.
which is possible.
Um, but yeah, I mean, sometimes people wait to see if it's funded first. They don't want to waste their time pledging if it's not going to fund. But being this close, if all of the followers who are interested in this book were to buy the book, we would blow past the funding goal in a minute. So it's just something to consider. If you all did that, that would be great. Hey, Kenny. Kenny did the artwork that you see right there.
Pete's saying some good stuff here. Here's what I see. There's a ton of great books, but there's also a ton of trash for a book that someone would have to pay $10 to $15. I agree. It's a tough sell, but we have to be salesmen. He also says, which is something important here. Also, it went from being disposable to being a collector's thing. Yeah, this industry has completely gone from being disposable to being a collector's thing.
And CGC made sure of that.
Yeah, that's why manga is selling so much, because it's cheap and it's disposable. Take the books out of slabs and put I completely agree. I
agree with you, Pete.
Should be in comic coffins.
I agree, and that goes back to what I was saying before. I think there's been a change in the demographic on Kickstarter for comics. You used to get readers that came on here for an alternative, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now I think it's people who want big name covers or NSFW covers so that they can slab them, or the limited to 25 covers because they feel there's going to be a monetary investment in the future, which, I mean, no disrespect, but they're not. These NSFW books aren't going to be worth anything later on. If you enjoy collecting them, go for it. But the people who think they're going to turn around and make a profit off of them, I don't understand that. I don't see how. But regardless, it's a niche thing. Hey, Ryan, it's a niche thing, and it is what it is. Ryan has a show. I'm going to be on Saturday, actually. So I'll be posting. Keep an eye out.
Yeah, folks, because we got to keep hustling. You got to keep getting the word out there. You got to keep doing the thing. That's why a lot of the times you'll see somebody like Phil show up on a bunch of the podcasts that you are already watching.
Yeah, I haven't really done any live streams for this because it really is emotionally draining for me.
I don't blame you, yeah.
It launched on the anniversary of my father's passing. And every time I talk about it, it kind of gets me. So it's hard because you're coming out in front of strangers and you're just I'm not afraid to make myself vulnerable in front of strangers, but at the same time it's just exhausting after a while. Emotionally it weighs heavy, and
it's really tiring.
The year went fast, and then this is all drudging up everything again, so it's hard. Yeah, I'll be on the Writer's Showcase Saturday at 7 p.m. on the End I Quote channel. I hope you don't mind the solicitation, Ralph. Thank you.
You know us here. We like to make sure that people go and do things and watch things and go check other people out, because they're not competition.
Ryan does some good stuff.
Same thing. Yeah, we're all working on the same thing. We should be helping each other up, and like we say here at Bit and Apple, we help each other rise to the top.
I agree, and I always appreciate you. You even with my conventions, you've always been a big supporter, and you support everybody, of course. But just speaking for my own.
Well, that's because you got a comic book convention.
Yeah, everybody keeps asking me when I'm going to start them again, but I'm trying to really get this distribution off the ground and publishing. So
I agree, Ryan. Phil is one of the most supportive guys I know. Much love, brother.
Well, I mean, I do what I can. I know it's hard for everybody, and I don't want anybody to feel like I feel or go through what I go through. So I often try to do what I can, but I'm limited like everybody else.
So we've been doing this now for 10 years. Can you believe that? We've been doing Bit and Apple TV for 10 years now. It's a 10th anniversary in October. And the whole reason we started was because I sat there in a convention and I looked around and I saw all these press people just covering the the bigger people, and there was so many projects and products and books out there that needed to be like gotten the word out there, and I felt, and I still feel that somebody needs to do it.
Yeah, I mean, but again, it stems from your passion and love for the industry and for the medium and pop culture in general. And we need people like you guys to talk about it and create a buzz. I think that's the biggest problem with indies on Kickstarter is there's no buzz created. Like there's no chatter, about, hey, did you read that, Elysium Fields from Michael Oden,
Great
or
book.
Cold Cutter from Charles W. Morgan. I mean, it was really good if you like crime noir, if there's no like buzz created and that little underground chattering that gets people interested, we'd rather we'll bitch and moan about how bad we hated She-Hulk and give them publicity that they don't need. Yeah, but we don't really create that kind of chatter for whether it's an artist like Kenny or Paul and his books or Ryan and his show or yours. And I would love to see that change. I would love to see people start sparking interesting conversations on these things,
Because I agree with you. I feel like what's happened now is instead of going out there and going, look, this is great art, or this is a great book, or whatever it is, everybody's busy with names like, oh, did you get that book from so and so? Did you get that book from
branding?
So-and-so?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because you can listen to a well-known person drone on for an hour, and you're like, that was so interesting, that was great, and you could have a nobody say just as interesting things or even be more interesting, but because he's not a name, you're like, oh, I had to tune out. I don't have the attention for it.
Oh my God, you're completely right. Paul, why don't we show off what you're up to, because you actually launched your game a week ago, right?
Yep, it was April 8th. We launched the first episode, and basically Time Enforcers, each game is going to be an episode. It's like the Batman series. That's how we look at it. And the first episode is Time Out of Time in feudal Japan. So you go back to feudal Japan as Samurai Kaizen to try and figure out what's happening with the temporal disturbances going on. And you're working under the auspices of the Galactic Space-Time Consortium. And we have C.T. Haugens, who's like the main, I guess, mad scientist, but he's really close to my heart. Anyway, and then you've got H.G. Wells. So all the characters have some basis in history. It's really meant to like sneak in history learning into the game with the kids not realizing it type thing. And I've had a lot of fun with it. I mean, it's been a struggle with the whole programming aspect. It's something I learned from the start and for this project, but it's going well. I'm really happy with it. It's getting to a point now where I hope I can produce more episodes a lot quicker, which it appears that I am getting to that point. So I'm pretty excited about that. But the whole thing is...
I was going to say, Paul, let me ask you this, because we were talking in the green room before all this started, and we were discussing everything you've been going through. What do you think is the big lesson or takeaway you learned from the first installment?
You got to keep talking about it. It's like you have to. I've learned a lot on networking through social media, and I'm starting to get into it even more. So Reddit, Discord, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I mean, I'm promoting as much as I can across all those channels because you don't know who you're going to hit, when you're going to hit. And as long as you keep your name out there and, keep mentioning it, hopefully people get interested in it and, come on board and really try to support you. So, it's a $2 investment. It's not a big deal. I enjoy playing it over and over again. I have for the past 2 years. So it's still not boring to me. And, it's a lot of fun. I look at Time Enforcers as being almost like you said, Phil, a retro Silver Age comic book. I go back to the 8 days when I liked reading the old Batmans and old Spideys, and that's how I looked at it. It's really meant to be something that's fun. It has a level of violence, but very, very mild. It's really meant to be for kids who are 9 to 11, but I have adults who play this and they love it too. So it's a lot of fun. And you may never know. You might learn something about history along the way, which is kind of a cool thing, which is what I like about it.
Feudal Japan, you can't go wrong. That's just freaking awesome. I love that.
Yeah, I fell in love with the Seven Samurai, and then of course, I got into the Seven Samurai because of the Magnificent Seven. So
Right.
I found out,
Right.
Seven Samurai was based on, Magnificent Seven was based on Seven Samurai. I said, "Oh, I got to see this." It was
Right.
just awesome. It was great. So yeah, just the whole aspect of history has always been something I'm very fond of. I mean, I originally got into the whole, Dark Ages and medieval history in seventh grade, and I just never stopped. I mean, went to the Civil War, and it's just like there was no internet back then. The only way I could find out about it was going to the library and getting books. And one of the things about this game, I'm not a historian by any means, but I do a lot of research, and whatever is in the game in terms of research, I provide as a reference. So if someone wants to go and look up more information about samurai or what horses they rode or what was the capital of Japan during the feudal age, all the references are there, so they can go and start doing the research on their own. That's really the whole point, is trying to get kids involved in wanting to learn more and spark that creativity for them to, take a step and try and go beyond what we're offering here. So that's what I love about it.
That's awesome.
I got to say, I say it all the time on the show. The reason I write is more because of my history teachers, because they showed me how to tell a story. They completely caught me in their charisma, in their way or ability to tell a story. On the other hand, my English teacher was like, "You're not going to be a writer."
Gotta love teachers that do that, right? Just knock you down before you even like 10.
Yeah, and I'm a big history buff. I love history. It's a story, and I feel like people don't see it that way. They get bogged down in it's history, but it's still a story. It's a story that's been told. It's a story that's been lived. And a lot of the stories we read are based on, or the stories that we watch are based on history, are based on things that have passed. We learn from those things, and then we try to work them into our own stories.
What I like about this too is just it's a comic book, and what I see a lot, especially like with the Marvel cinematic universe, is like they're beholden to try and keep things the way they are without disrupting things. It's like this is a comic. I mean, there's no reality here. You do whatever you want. So what if the world blows up? I mean, it happens. It's like just move on. But that's what I love about the concept of this idea, where we're going to be focusing on a different historical figure each episode. So episode 2 is going to be focusing on Amelia Earhart. And one of the ideas I had was to convert her Vega 5B to a Vega 3D6. So it becomes a plane that can travel interdimensionally, which is kind of cool. So it's like taking those aspects of history and kind of warping them a little bit. But then I have ways to like blow off the doors, like everything happening, like, time going to the pits and like Chronolith taking over and all that kind of stuff. But regardless, that's why I find excited about it. It's really deviating the storyline and really twisting things around, and really there are no rules. That I really want to break everything that I can, which is something I'm looking forward to. I just can't produce the material fast enough. That's my only problem right now. But one thing I want to note on this, just going back to what Ralph just said, this really is almost like a book. The game has an interactive table of contents, so as you move through it, chapters will become active in the table of contents as you go through the game. So each scene that you hit will probably trigger a link in the table of contents. So when you come back, if you don't play the whole game at once, you can come back and start where you left off. Or if you want to replay a level that you like, you can go back and do that as well. So, and I don't want to give any was it the spoilers here, but basically there is an alternate ending to the game. So you'll either hit one ending and there's another alternate ending you can hit as well. Well, I won't tell you how to do it, so you're gonna figure that out yourself. But anyway,
and you're on Steam. Cool.
Yeah.
I love the fact that you're so interactive, and it's so much fun. And I think that's what got me into this. The first time I met you at Garden State Comic Fest, is that it feels like you're a part of history. It feels like it's not like you're just learning about history. You're actually a part of it, and you're living through it, or you're going through an aspect of it as you play the game.
Yep. I mean, I am a big fan of Fallout, and what I loved about Fallout was the Pit Boy. You know, that's such a cool little device that had all the information you need. And my game has this thing called the Chronoton, so it's got all the information that you need to get through the game. You don't have to worry about going to the internet to find the answer. Chronoton has all the information you have you'll need to get through the game. The Inquisitor, who is actually voiced by my daughter, she actually asks the questions you have to get by, and that's where you start learning about history. So it's kind of a fun aspect that I've got my family involved in this as well, as much as they they say they enjoy it, but I've been tapping them a lot. So you know how it is with trying to tap creativity without any kind of payment. It's kind of tough sometimes.
It's a family business.
Exactly. But I'm also going to be tapping Ralph as well. Episode 2 is going to be featuring a new character that we're bringing on board. He's going to be called Detective Nick O'Time, and he'll be presented as a grayscale character, kind of like those, what's it called, film noir characters like Sam Spade or Philip Marlowe, and he'll be in there as part of the game. So I'm excited to have him included as well. He actually has this device called the Gumshoe Blaster, so it's actually a magnifying glass. It spits out globs of gum.
That's great.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I'm really excited about it. Like I said, I can't get this stuff done quick enough. That's my only problem. So
that's why you need to get the money flowing and start building a team.
That's what I'm looking forward to. If I can get, one thing I got into the business, when I went to school in art school, and coming out, at one point I was actually starting my own magazine with a couple friends, and it was like, I call it a New York City lifestyle magazine called Metro. But what I loved about it wasn't the work. It was just meeting all the creatives. So like all the artists, the photographers, the writers, and then throwing business at them where they can feature their own work. And that's really what I want to do with this project, is in addition to like providing a platform for kids to learn about history, is really getting people involved that, is in our community, who are artists, who are writers, that can really, have them, showcase their work through this game. And I've actually taken a few steps towards that. It's been tough because, I have limited means, but I've asked artists to like interpret their own character. If artists come on board and they actually draw on the characters, and I'm featuring it on my website and social media. So it's kind of cool. I just want to, give back as much as I can and get people to come in and, hopefully have some fun along the way, which will be good.
Another fun part of this is that Paul goes out there and he dresses in his professor character at the conventions. So you'll see him as the professor in the conventions. You go up to him. It's a lot of fun.
That's cool.
Yeah, I get Doc Brown, I get Einstein. It's like, no, I'm Professor C.P. Hawkins.
Are you going to be at Garden State this year?
Yeah, I'll be at Garden State. Yeah.
Cool. I'll get to meet you in person.
That'd be great, Phil. I look forward to it. It'd be awesome.
Yeah, me too. I'll make sure everybody gets your character right.
I get free stuff. I mean, I'm always one for like not charging people. So if you come to my booth, we got candy, we got buttons, we got stickers. If you don't buy a T-shirt,
you get a lot of good stuff.
Well, I was already coming, but now you got candy. All right.
Come to the history booth. We got candy.
Yeah. Actually,
just be careful, because that pickup line of "I've got candy for you, little girl" is not what you want.
Don't even go there. No, but we had a big play at CycloCon. It was so cool. My wife said, "Paul, we got to feature balloons." So I'm like, I got like 24 balloons, and this is the best thing. I'm looking at CycloCon, and I see my balloons floating around the whole show. It's awesome.
Oh, that's great.
It was so cool. So
that's a brilliant idea.
Custom balloons. They'll be blowing balloons up at Garden State.
So that's a brilliant idea, because if the balloons will go all over the con, it's like promotion everywhere.
Exactly. You know what you should do? Put a piece of candy or something in them, so if they pop them, they get a little gift.
There you go. It's like a piñata.
It'd be like, ooh, a piece of candy.
Family Guy. Oh, I haven't seen that one.
I tell you, man, Jolly Ranchers are the best.
Oh man!
But no, it's a passion. It's something. This project actually came out of COVID. I saw what was happening to my family and the educators that were thrown into that travesty of education. And I said, why can't technology, make learning fun instead of being a chore? I mean, I went through the Civil War with my son, and I love the Civil War. Grew up as a kid. After that whole experience, I wanted to take a pencil and just stick it in my eye. It was so bad. It was so bad. And then I said, why can't we just make this fun? Why does it have to be so difficult? And just make it boring for kids, So that's really the inspiration behind this whole thing.
That's cool. I remember I had a history teacher in high school that he was fun. He made it interesting, and I paid attention, and I liked the class, and his approach was like what Ralph said. History is a story. It's and it pretty much covers a lot of the adventures that you've had in life. I mean, there's war, and there's heroes, and there's villains, so to speak, and there's military, and there's, depending on what history, there's romance. I mean, Troy, right? I mean, all over a woman. So just,
yeah, I mean, just like Michael Oden with the whole Greek mythology. I mean, that's a huge genre that's just aching to be tapped into. Exactly. There's so much stuff in there. It's just it's mind blowing. It's just so much things people can learn about and really get interested in, and that's really something I think it's very much overlooked nowadays, unfortunately.
I agree. Very cool.
Thanks. Yeah, we're on the App Store, so we're everything but Google Play. I couldn't get on there. They had too many restrictions in terms of file size, but Samsung, Galaxy, Amazon App Store, what's up? Sorry, I'm losing track here. Amazon App Store, Samsung Galaxy, itch.io, Steam, Apple App Store for iOS, and Mac App Store for the Mac desktop. And I was amazed I can get on that many stores. I'm really happy about that. So there's really no reason why you can't play this game. Really
impressive, most impressive.
Yeah, and I've made it easy for you folks. I put it into the comment section so I don't hear, Ralph, it is not in the comment section. I'm not gonna go look for it. I'm lazy.
I know that guy. He's on every stream. I always ask after. Good imitation.
He is so upset.
You're missing the hooks for hands and the flaming beard, but other than that, spot on.
It's so funny because he always tells me, you're always making fun of me. I'm like, nobody knows who you are. Unless you tell them who you are, nobody knows who you are.
He comes on. I resemble that remark.
Oh, man. So, Ray, Phil did a good job at showing off your book.
Thanks, man.
Why don't you show off your book?
Well, here, before we begin, I just want to give you guys an apology. I assumed regular bat time. I obviously didn't read the fine print, so my wife was just packing the kids up to bed there. I apologize for missing the first chunk of it. And also, it sounds like Phil was already talking about Poppa. I'd like to talk a bit about that after talk about MadCaps, if that's okay. Right on. Okay, so at the end of today is the halfway point. Actually, in about the next half hour, that's the halfway point of this campaign. And looking at the first campaign, we have more backers this time. And this campaign has almost accumulated just as much in these 2 weeks as it has in the previous 4 weeks for all of first campaign. So I'm very, very grateful. We've got some repeat backers. I've got some really good compliment on the story so far, and I'm flattered. I promise number 3 is going to be a great ending to the whole thing. Three issue miniseries, takes place over one night. We have oodles of different covers. We've got metal foil cover, metal foil poster. We have a bunch of add-ons. You can get a plush tapestry, which is essentially just a plush blanket, but it'll look really cool hanging on your wall. There is T-shirts. There is 5th edition D&D character sheets based off the 4 characters.
Nice.
At level 5, there's a chance to play with a professional dungeon master in a one-shot. There's another add-on you can get as a map that depicts where this story takes place. And you really just have to jump on and have a look. One thing I want to say about that one page there, Chazgo there, he has a pet albino 3-eyed crow, which is debuted in this issue. A lot of the action is spoilerish, so it was actually a little bit of a challenge to show which pages, but this one actually shows Chazgo looking through the eyes of his pet as he surveys the compound of an area they're about to infiltrate. So compliments to Dan Kemp and the colors. The guy is world caliber and with intelligence towards that skill. Kenny Calderon. There's Jay Sloan. There's Russ Leach. There is Jenna Stark. All of my colorists, the brothers Kemp, as I call them. Dan and Dave. You really just have to go on there and have a look. There's so much that I'm looking forward to showing on this. I already have 3 covers done for issue number 3. And I've said it once, I said it 1,000 times. It is torture not being able to show this stuff to people yet. I'm just flattered this time around I can talk a bit about issue 1 because there's a little bit more depth of context. And with these different tiers, there's different buy-ins and different combos. A comic and a t-shirt, or comic and a blanket for us Canadians. It actually snowed yesterday, believe it or not.
Whoa.
It actually snowed halfway through April, and we got snow on the ground. It was gone as soon as the sun was in the air, but it's like that one spider that struggles to not get flushed down the toilet. It just won't go away. But
dude, your voice is getting coarse. You're doing too many shows.
I had a 2-hour one this morning. I actually took a vacation day to do that one. And by the time I hit May 1st, it will be 54 podcasts as of right now. I might get another 2 in there. We'll see. There's pinup art there by Sean Langley. For $5 more, you can get the black and white without Dan Kemp's coloring. There's the metal foil cover. A lot of people wanted this one to be a metal foil cover, and I didn't want to take attention off the stained glass, so a happy compromise. It's less money for this because it's just the pinup. And we took the logo off, so it's just the virgin art of the lines and the color. So that will look really beautiful hanging on the wall. A lot of people are loving those. We got a bookmark set. It is various different covers and art from issues 1 and 2. The character sheets is already mentioned. The T-shirts is already mentioned underneath that. Those T-shirts, you can pick your T-shirt size, your color of T-shirt, and your art. There's your options for the blanket tapestry. Options is the word. I can't English today, but that's all right.
Well, because you've been doing too many shows.
Maybe. We have 1 stretch goal unlocked. We are right on the threshold of stretch goal number 2. We are hiding them. We're not telling what they are until they're revealed. So the first one is a humble one. It's a die cut corner sticker. Look great on a binder. Look great on a laptop. It's taken from the main cover to issue 1, or issue 2 rather, drawn by Kenny Calderon and colored by Dan Kemp. The very last, if we get that last target goal there, we will, as I mentioned, one of the 3 issues in black and white, we will reveal it in issue number 2. So you have a little bit of a taste of what you're getting yourself into. I'm hoping we get that because it's a nice little reveal without it. It's a statement without saying anything. You will want to get issue 3 once you see this picture. There's been a lot of been holding back, and even though my voice is coarse, I wish I could talk way more about this stuff. Shout out to Victor Medina for all the interior work.
Yeah.
Dan Kemp, who is, as I mentioned, world caliber colorist. He's colored everything from Marvel Knights, Daredevil, and Punisher to the drawn Ramada Jr. era of Amazing Spider-Man, over 100 issues of Spawn. He really likes working with Victor Medina's interiors. Micah Myers is back for issue 2. For all of the letters. He is 3-time Ringo nominee. I have just nominated him myself because I want to get him in there. Also, of course, Phillip Russertt, who I've also put in for the Ringo nomination. Hopefully,
did you really?
Yes, I did. It had a big sheet, so I was allowed to put names in. And what other publisher am I going to put in, man? Of course you're going in. So with that said, shout out to Philbo Publishing and all of the work they've done for me. I'm very grateful. And with all this, if you're on the fence right now about backing this, A, it's funded, so you're going to get it. B, we're almost at a second stretch goal, which is a really nice one. You could be the make or break for that second stretch goal. It's right there. Mm-hmm. And also, if you've got, and I've said this multiple times, I think I've said it on yours already, Raph, if you've got friends that you don't get to see as much as you would like to, then when you see them, your very inner child is recharged. This comic is an homage to that level of camaraderie told through the theme of medieval fantasy, portrayed using the medium of a comic book. So if you like fantasy, if you miss your friends, if you like magic, melee, monsters, mayhem, it's got it all. Hey, good to see you, Ryan. Really good to see you. Hey, man, I really believe in this story, and I bet you will too. If you buy in, anybody listening right now, have a gander at this. I promise you, there's digital copy if you don't have a lot of real estate in your house. There's physical copies. There's collectors. One person already got the ultimate tier, which is pretty much everything.
Nice.
And there's really nothing else I can say. You just have a look at the trailer.
It's funny that you said all that, because me and Phil, that's exactly what we were talking about when we were talking about your book when you weren't here.
Well,
one thing I didn't talk about is one of the things I like about working with Ray, and this is not backhanded, this is genuinely a compliment. Ray, despite being a father of children and a husband and a career and everything, is a big kid when it comes to this. I mean,
can't deny that.
It's professionally done. He has his professional cap on, but to the energy, just having conversation with Ray. Of course, he needs to do it at 11 p.m. for some reason, but his enthusiasm, his passion, his energy is like a kid before Christmas, and for an old grump like me, it's actually refreshing.
It is, and
it's nice. And it's one of the things I do like working. One of the many things I do enjoy working with Ray.
Thanks, man.
And I just want everybody to understand that if you want books that are, beholden to shareholders, then go by all means, go pick one off a shelf. But if you want a book that is written with the passion, the love, and the desire of a person who truly loves the D&D genre and comic book genre and role-playing genre, all mixed in one, it is a book you should pick up because it's done well, and it's done with the passion of someone you can tell really cares about this. So, 54 shows, for crying out loud. I don't know what to tell you. That's dedication, and that should be rewarded one way or the other, and you'll be rewarded in return by reading a good book.
And if you love D&D, you need to get in on this tier where you play a one-shot with Michael Towson, because it is fantastic. Mr. Nathan underneath me was a vending machine. and now great. He's a legend, yes. Because he played the vending machine.
It's a vending machine that shot out anime dolls.
That is okay.
It was all underwater. It was amazing. Each anime doll, Michael Towson, who's the DM, he had to describe the anime doll. Eventually, he started running out of characters he could think of. So he's like, "Here's M. Bison in a schoolgirl outfit flying out from Street Fighter 2."
I've done the game twice now, and it's a blast. You guys got to get in on this. If you like D&D, get in on this. It's just fantastic. It's fun, and I gotta say, I do say it every time we talk about this. One of the best things was we were playing our characters from our prospective projects, and I got to play one of my characters from a project that I'm working on. And it was interesting to play as the character. It gave me more insight into the character because you're playing as this character, and sometimes you really need to get into your character in order to understand them more. And this made me understand that character way more. And I tell people all the time that, if you want to write, one of the best things to do is play role-playing games. You want to act, best thing to do is play role-playing games, because you're going to do a lot of writing and a lot of acting in role-playing games.
One of the things I like about one-shot campaigns is they're very similar to that of an escape room. And when you're in an escape room, you kind of learn a bit about yourself because you have to work under pressure. But in this case, it's through second party or third party perspective, because you're acting out another character in the D&D campaign. It's kind of a similar thing, but role playing, of course. But definitely check this out. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of pieces moving in the background that I wish I could talk about. And it's not my day job. One of the best things about this story is you are getting a story that you can walk in open-minded. You don't have to have, and I've said this as a joke before, 60 years worth of lore memorized to understand half the context of the story. You can just walk in and absorb it for what it is. On the other good point is, because this isn't my day job, I'm doing it by choice. I'm not rushing out a monthly issue, or I've said this before. Sometimes you have crossing over story arcs from two different monthly issues. Sometimes you got to delay or push back or stretch forward a certain story or an issue. You get filler issues because of that. This comic was initially supposed to be 2 issues, but there was so much going on in it. I actually expanded it into 3 issues just because it felt too crowded. I wanted to take my time telling the story in a good way. So the quality is there. There's no pressure in regards to letting down or fan service or anything like that. This is the chance of you seeing something for the first time. I saw a meme not too long ago. There's a scene of Keanu Reeves in a movie, and he's got his headphones on and he's eating. It comes from the movie Always Be My Maybe. But anyways, in the scene, out of context, he's eating this stuff and he's got headphones on and he starts crying saying, "I'm sorry." Well, someone turned that into a meme and it says, "Save your family or play Final Fantasy VII for the first time again." And the guy's eating there and he's like, "I'm sorry," crying. And I can't control my caliber of writing. This is my first time writing. I got talent I felt was worthy of the story. It's up to the readers to decide whether this story is worthy of the industry. But all I'm saying is, if you read these 3 issues, it's just a one-night story. This could be the equivalent of, I remember reading this for the first time. And when I read it, and Phil talked about this before, you get the comic in your hand for the first time. I got to have that experience, and wow, this is real. This is the real deal. It wasn't like I was 7 and made my own and stapled it together and it was drawn on with crayons. These are pros. I was rolling with like top tier talent, and I just, wow, it actually happened. And I swear, when you look at this book, when you read it, this could be the next time. I remember reading this for the first time and I very much enjoyed it. And the only way to prove that right or wrong is actually to buy a copy and give it a go.
And of course, let's go to the videotape. Show it off. Come on.
After Chasgo and myself received a surprise visit from Dunnan and Madrakas, we were able to help the local guards stave off the beginnings of an undead outbreak. I recognise one of the fallen creatures to be an addict to the local drug, Weave. After following a lead, the 4 of us were able to track down a group of bandits transporting the drug. Fortunately, we were able to control the situation, and Dunnan has a gift with aligning perspectives.
You get to choose which of my friends here you are going to speak to. If not, I'll pick for you.
We had no idea that this was the beginning of a very long night.
There you go. We got a little plug from Simon Forces.
Right on, man. Thanks, Paul.
I backed you 2 weeks ago, Ray. So,
thanks, man.
You're welcome.
Well, to quote my father in regards to quality, if it's worth doing, it's worth doing well. And that's a little bit of a segue for Poppa. I know you guys have talked about it a little bit, but
so you know what we'll do? We'll start with the video because we didn't do that before. So let's go to the video tape, and then we'll talk about Poppa.
Meet Bruce Rogers, a 75-year-old Vietnam veteran who's spending his twilight years living with his son, daughter-in-law, and 12-year-old granddaughter, Melody. Bruce and his son have an estranged relationship that has never been resolved. Melody is the light of Bruce's life, as they've formed a bond that never grew between him and his son, Craig. When a threat to Bruce's family arises, this old man must decide what he's willing to do in order to keep his family safe. What would you do? What would you sacrifice for the sake of your family?
Ignore the coming 2024. That was when I was trying to get it out before my father's passing. So, but unfortunately, I just might as well keep the trailer, right? So
it's a good trailer. All right, go ahead, Ray.
All I wanted to say is Phil's doing this as an homage to his father. I went through this just 3 years back, and my dad but 15 years before he died, he tasked me with certain things. I'm the baby of my family, and I felt it was, when he tasked these things with me, the details are relevant. It felt very, let's just say, real. I don't know how else to put it. Felt a little more real than real. It's like you hear a grizzly bear is big, and then you see one for the first time. Oh my goodness. And when my dad tasked these things with me, a couple of them applied to when my dad was around no more, and I was able to follow through and get them done. And there's a bit of obligation, and I'm sure part of that helped with the grieving process. And there was various other things. And I'm sure Phil has already said he wanted to get this into his dad's hands. Him and his dad spoke about this. And from my own experience, I think I understand just Phil needs to get this out of his system. I've read all 5 issues in regards to the script. I'm in love with it. One thing for sure is, and I've said this before as well, you take Clint Eastwood out of the movie Gran Torino, you replace Bob Odenkirk with him in the movie Nobody, and it's an old man versus the mafia, essentially. And what is a man? Is a man willing to compromise his own personal rules to keep his family safe? By the end of issue 1, there's a great cliffhanger, and I have a review for this comic, and I can't say anymore. It's frustrating. The whole got to keep stuff back. I'm green to this, right? So, all in all, this book is definitely worth your money. I can tell you that with conviction. And anybody listening right now, go on to this Kickstarter, have a look over. I promise you, by the time you get through issue 1, you'll be like, okay, I'm in. When's issue 2 coming out? I promise you that.
I agree.
Great.
I agree.
Appreciate it.
You read this book,
Yes.
you're going to want to follow the rest of the story.
Yes, definitely.
Phil, let me ask you this. We're looking at the whole process of funding and all this and that. But let's say we get a big boost. Is there a way that you do more than one book at a time, and what would that goal be, or is that like a stretch goal?
Well, it's funny because, like I said, I need 15 grand to get the entire graphic novel done.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the business person, if we had made 15 grand on this campaign, the business person and you would say, okay, but then you can make another 15 for the second issue and you keep going and make a lot of money. Or the fan in me and the person who just wants to, like Ray said, I just want to do this for my dad. If I had made the 15 grand, I would have just put out the entire book for everybody, the 110 page.
That's what I wanted you to say.
It's not.
I already knew what you were going to say, so.
This book is nothing to do with money for me other than I just need it to make it. And as much as I'm a publisher and I'm a businessman and I want to make money, I don't ever want to make the money off the backs of people. I don't ever want regrettable purchases from anyone. I don't want anybody feeling they were pigeonholed or tricked or whatever. Like I said before, we all work really hard. And at the end of the day, we seek out entertainment that resonates with us, and that money that you spend is probably an hour of a job that was not passionate for you, and that better be a good product for that hour's worth of labor to have been invested in it. And I promise you, as someone who is 52 years old and I've worked since 16 and I've never liked any job I've ever worked, this is worth your money and your time, regardless of the personal aspect of it for me. And so is MadCaps. If Philbo puts their name on the cover, it's because I believe in the story, I believe in the creator, and I believe in the vision. And if you don't support Poppa and you support MadCaps, that's fine too. Ray deserves all the support in the world.
Thanks, man. If
Poppa is not your thing, if you want to do a $5 donation and a thing, or just share it to someone who you think might like it. But this book, if you're just a guy trying to make it in this world, where we're supposed to just be strong all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, all of us are in that generation where our fathers were tough as nails, and they said, you suck it up, and you put those pants on, and you lace up those boots, and you take care of your friends, you take care of your family, and you do it, and you don't complain, and you don't cry, and you don't whine, and no matter what comes your way, you stand up, you face it like a man, and you conquer it. If you're one of those people that, you know, you're taking care of your family and you're not happy, you're sacrificing, you're miserable at your job or whatever, but you still come home and play on the toy phone with your little girl, you're struggling just to get through life, and you have your own inner demons, but you keep them down because you know what, your wife needs you or your kid needs you. You know, this isn't just about me and my dad. This is a tribute to all those guys out there, especially those fathers that deal with their own struggles and their own demons quietly, because they know that the greatest thing they can do is just be strong for the people they love no matter what. And we don't always get credit. We don't always get appreciation. And sometimes we even get vitriol because they can't see past the facade that we put up and see the pain we hide back, or the sacrifices that we make as parents, as fathers. This book is for people who understand that, for people who have someone in their life that, you know, maybe they're not talking to you because they don't understand, and you don't know how to get them to understand, or you can't tell them, you can't explain. Again, I know it sounds like a deep, heavy book, but it still also has its action adventure at the end of the day. And I really think when people get to the last page of chapter 1, they're going to go, holy crap. Someone told me the other day that I am the cliffhanger king. That I am very good at that last page making you go, oh man, I got to go see what happens next. I'm not saying that. That's what a lot of people have said to me between that and the dialogue. I'm just going to ask you to give it a try, even if it's a PDF, and you let me know. And if you know what, if you disagree, okay, you know, thank you for giving it a try. I appreciate it. But I, like Ray, like Paul, we do this because we absolutely believe in what we're doing with everything we have.
Yeah.
We have our day jobs, we have our families, we have our obligations and responsibilities, and we will stay up and we will fight and we will do 54 shows, or we will go through the internet to get every platform we can get our game on, or, you know, we sacrifice time with family, we sacrifice time of peace for ourselves. We do what we have to because we believe in this, and we need you to believe in it too. So please support everybody here. Go check out that game for Paul. Go check out MadCaps. And if you got some time, check out Poppa.
Yeah. Guys, I'm telling you, you won't be remiss. You will enjoy Poppa. And like I was saying before, it will be a great Father's Day gift.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good point. That's an excellent point.
I really want to see people's reactions to that last page.
I will definitely let you know, Phil. Definitely. So.
Yeah, I mean, when my wife read the first chapter, and then she goes, "Oh, whoa! I didn't see that coming." So, yeah, I love creating. You know, my whole life there was this frustration and anger, and I always felt like I was missing something, like I wasn't meeting my potential, like I should have been more, I should have been doing more. And when I got sick and I almost died and I was bedridden for 6 weeks and I started writing, that frustration was gone. Paul had mentioned before, he can't get the content out fast enough. And for people who consume creative projects and don't create themselves, maybe they do, maybe they don't understand. When you're a creator, when you're creating these worlds, these stories, these characters, it's an addiction, and you get these stories that are just scratching and clawing at your skull and want to get out. And and it's frustrating when you don't have the money or the means or the manpower to get it out fast enough. And it's like, I don't know if OCD is the word, but it's like I got all these stories and man, I can't get them out. I want to get them out. I want to get them out. I can't get them out enough.
The word you're looking for is catharsis.
Yes, but it's maddening because you can't get it out fast enough. You have all these brilliant ideas in your mind that you want to share with the world, and you want and welcome feedback, and it's got to wait. You got to do it one at a time, and it's maddening. It's kind of like being online behind that old woman who's counting pennies when you got to get to work. You're like, I'm not mad at her, but my God, I got to get going here. Come on. So
that reminds me of Peter David when he had to take over X Factor.
Quicksilver. I was just thinking that it's one of the greatest writing parts ever.
And he describes that very thing you just described. It's
I know.
Nobody got Quicksilver until that page.
And it's great that you say that because I always bring that up to Peter when I talk to him. I hope he's doing well. And by the way, Peter David thought that Tragedy was written well. So
speaking of cliffhangers, that first issue.
Yeah. So
that was a cliffhanger.
And I do want to.
There's also something people didn't see coming.
Yeah.
And I do want to say, Victor Medina, is doing phenomenal work on that book. I mean, obviously the Kemp brothers are professionals; they deserve all the accolades. But Vic is really knocking the artwork out of the park, and it's his first sequential book. Shocked the hell out of me. I would have never known. And no disrespect to the prior artist who was really good on MadCaps, but this is just yeah, man, he's knocking it out of the park. So kudos to him. And I think today was his kid's birthday, so wish him a happy birthday. Anyway,
happy birthday.
Right on.
And just because we've been mentioning this book a lot, I have to bring it up. Elysian Fields by Michael Olden. Fantastic book. You love history. This is right up your alley. This just fits in so many slots today that I had to bring it up. Go check out Elysian Fields. The art's fantastic. Has a great story. If you like history, it's right up your alley. You know what? I'll let the video speak for itself. Let's go to the videotape.
This is over. Yeah, I love that V-Ken cover. V-Ken's a friend of mine, and he's honestly one of the best artists in the industry. I mean, if he's one of my top three. So, yeah, he might even be my favorite. Him and Mark Silvestri, I think, it's time for my favorite.
Those covers are just like, wow. You know, they like really pop. They're... Hey.
Bear says hello. That's Kaylee Bear. Little Mighty. She's going to bed. I love you, sweet joy.
Oh, look, it's Charles W. Morgan.
And that's how should just stare at me.
Hi, Charles.
The whole time.
Yeah.
Cold Cutter.
Hey, Charles, Cold Cutter, great crime noir if you're interested. And Charles' artwork has been phenomenal on that book. Definitely check it out if you like crime noir.
And I love crime noir, and that's why I love Cold Cutter.
Yeah, you do the voiceovers on his trailers.
Oh, I love that.
Really
And I feel like each issue I've gotten into the character where I know he's just getting into this place, and I already have this idea for the next issue, and he's going to be in a really bad place.
Cool. You gonna say something, Ray?
Oh no, I was just gonna say that's your second born, yes?
That's my youngest. Yeah.
My second born is the tough one as well, and we have a joke about her. I assume it applies to yours, where when she's older, if she builds her own house, she won't install doors. She'll just effortlessly walk through the walls.
By the way, you have adorable kids, man. I
Thank
saw
you.
them for the first time, and your wife must be beautiful because they're good-looking kids.
Yeah. And you want to know?
That sounded like a backhanded compliment to me.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I can't deny anything you just said.
Yeah,
Actually,
they're adorable
Well, let
kids.
me ask you guys this then, because my daughter's an only child, so she has both those qualities at the same time.
Yeah.
She's soft and tough at the same time.
Yeah, but there's something about the second child that, like, there's no survival instinct at all.
Okay.
Throw caution to the wind.
Charles is like, thank you, Phil. Great voice, Ralph. Charles, I always appreciate that.
My oldest just came to say goodnight. She's a little camera shy, but would you like to come say hello? You sure?
I'll
You know
wave even
Ralph.
though I can't see her. She probably
You know
can see
Ralph,
me.
you know Ray, and Paul has only eaten one child in his life, so
Oh yeah, good.
Paul's a nice guy.
I'm happy you said that because
Four.
it just reminds me
It says
of
four.
my favorite episode of Bluey, where
There you go.
Hey,
I love you, kid.
And the puppet's like, what do you eat? Children.
Yeah. It's funny because my father was so tough. I mean, he scared the hell out of people. I mean, bench pressed 165 pounds at 77 years old. Got arrested for road rage at 75. He had PTSD, had anger issues. Good man, but anger issues. And around his granddaughters was the softest person I ever saw in my life. I never saw him like that. I was kind of like, where the hell was this when I was growing up? But he was a wonderful papa to those little girls. So it was nice to see that side of him.
That reminds me of a meme. The meme it just shows a biker and it says, no matter how big and tough you are, when a kid hands you a toy phone, you answer it.
Yeah.
My wife was just letting
Yo,
me know
you and I are like on the same brain wave today, because I was mentioning that earlier about no matter how hard your day is, you come home, you answer the toy phone. My God, I don't know if that's scary or not.
I don't know. What is it? Frodo, and Sam gives Frodo a hard time. Why do you give Smeagol such a blind eye? He says, well, I need hope for him because I'm going to be like him one day. Well, I hope when I'm a curmudgeon, I'm nice and stuff too, right? I give a young guy a chance. And
Great.
That'll be my biography, The Curmudgeon.
The Curmudgeon, New York's finest.
So, folks, this next weekend we're going to be at BIX, the Brooklyn Independent Comics Show at Industry City. And if you're looking for a place where a bunch of indies are going to be hanging out, showing off their stuff, this is the place to be. If you like indie comics, you need to go to this, and it is fantastic. We did the most interviews at any convention at the last one last year, and that was only 1 day. So this is 2 days this year. So we're gonna be busy. But if you're looking for a place to find all those indie books that are out there, this is the place to go.
What, Ralph? Can you do me a favor? Can you send me the hours and location later on in DM? Because I might try to stop by there on Saturday afternoon after work.
Yeah, sure, no problem. We're gonna be there, so yeah. And we've already interviewed her on the show, so I got all that information.
Cool, thank you.
Right now, this is their Instagram. If you guys want anything, you can go check out the Instagram. They're showcasing all the people that are going to be there. We already know a ton of people that are going to be there. There are going to be a bunch of our friends that are going to be there. Folks, go check this out. Industry City is fantastic. It's a great place, and at the same time, you have the convention and you have other things you can do. You have great food. You have St. Mark's Comics. This place is a great location for a convention, and it's free. Always fun, always free. There you go, folks. Go check it out. That weekend also will be MCon in Long Island. So MCon, it will be at the East Meadow Public Library in Long Island.
East Meadow.
And Mark Torres from It Came From the Radio will be doing his radio play there on Saturday, which I was gonna be a part of, but I ended up having to go to Bix. So I won't be there for this, but I will always support Mark Torres. He's fantastic. That book of his, talk about a passion about getting your book done. 30 years in the making, folks. You know, for you folks out there that they go, oh, but you know, I've been working on this for years, dude. It doesn't matter. Just get it done. You know, it's your passion.
Get her done.
Yeah, make it happen. Get her done.
There is no tomorrow.
Exactly.
There is no tomorrow.
Yeah, Rocky 3.
Just do it.
Stallion.
Mr. Nathan, am I forgetting something? Or are you there?
I'm here. Hey. No, you pretty much got all of it. Just a couple of the usual suspects. Pat Shand has Wild Wisps going on for its second book. And Niobe Tales of Asunda has their book also going on, and that's pretty much it.
And they're both doing very well, but you know, folks, we can always use extra support. Go check them out. And Niobe is actually doing a thing with their Dungeons and Dragons as well, so you might want to go check out that whole thing.
Hey Ralph, can I share my trailer that I made for launch?
No,
only because I like showing this shut up.
Of course,
no, it's fun. I mean, I showed this to my kids and said, "Dad, this is super cool."
Go ahead.
All right, give me 1 second. Let me just get it up.
What Paul's doing right now is he's going through his computer to find the piece of media that we need to see at the moment. So what Ralph is doing is this thing called in media, where you explain things as the thing is happening, so there's no dead air.
Got to be holding on to your piece while you're.
I'm waiting for this thing to jump. Here we go. It's 45 seconds, but I love it.
Perfect.
I had so much fun doing this. Right?
Oh no, you did a great job at it. I know what you're going to show. Hold on. There we go.
GSTC control. We've got main engine cutoffs. First stage separation confirmed. Over. We're on UCT. Reading in 5. Hawkins to GSTC control. I'm exiting. Time jump 1. Over. Roger that, CT. All systems are green. Over. GSTC control. This is incredible. Do not believe what I'm seeing here. Confirming. It's a tower cosmic good. Common users is now on upstairs. Gather your copy to know and make loading this straightforward.
I'm sorry, man. If I could get 2001 in, I
had a great choice of music. Good job.
Hell 9000.
Had to do it.
Yes.
That was great.
But just so everybody knows, that's not a hidden message saying that the AI or the computer part of it is going to turn on you and try to kill you.
That could be an
Phil?
How many guys would never do that, Phil?
Yeah.
Never.
Oh my God. Can you tell we're geeks, folks? Any last words, guys, before we go?
Well, first, thank you, Paul, for backing. Please support everybody here with what they do. They work hard, and we appreciate you. That's it.
Of course, check out Poppa right there. Go right now. Go check it out. And of course, check out MadCaps.
Yep.
You know,
The only
folks.
other thing I can say is a deceptive, really good thing in hot chocolate is maple syrup. I am Canadian and proud of it, but that's a completely separate topic. We're leaving winter, so I'm still in that range. Everything I could say could be said. Go on to the Kickstarter, watch the trailer, look at the options. You can get issue 1 and issue 2. Big setup for number 3. The payoff is going to be huge. Just go and have a gander.
Yeah, folks, all the beautiful stuff.
Of
course, on this show,
Ralph, I'm so appreciative of being on the show. I mean, I just love meeting all these creative individuals. It's phenomenal to me to be able to, just interact with all these people. It's just great. So thanks, man. I really appreciate this. It's awesome.
Yeah, thanks, Ralph.
I think the last thing I'm going to say is, because it's something to what Phil said, I need to get it out of my head. The reason I don't publish is because it would stop me from getting it out of my head. Because then you got to do that whole publishing thing and get that out there and stop all the stuff from coming out of your head. Because that is the reason I write. I write so that it's not here and I don't turn into the Joker. There you go, folks. And with that, I'll do what always happens on this show. I'll press the button and this shows up. I know what you're saying to yourself, folks. It's Tuesday.